fine for making us very fine human beings. But being a successful person otherwise is a different story. So how do we connect the two?
Absolutely.
Actually, to get what we really want in life. Being good, humble, everything is very nice. We hear without religion and all. But we have to combine those two things with the ultimate successful person.
I get your question. A little bit with the ultimate success. Just a little, I'll tell you why. Those are again, as I said, the opportunities being given to you. Like Krishna told Arjun, go fight the war in the role that I am giving you. I'm the one who's doing everything through you, but you will get to bear the glory for centuries to come. Right? So you are being given that chance to bring your own talent in that seed that you have, the DNA that you have, to fulfillment. Things are happening through you, but how will they happen through you? First you have to become a fine instrument. It's not that till you become the fine instrument, things will not happen through you. You're already in God's eyes or in the divine's eyes already a fine instrument. What a beautiful creation already made. Imagine from the mother's womb to what comes out is the most fantastic creation. From that point of view, you're already a fine work in progress. Now is the time for you to participate in that journey of fine-tuning yourself and becoming even a better and better instrument, which can receive all the energies, use them up, and deliver them in whatever field, whether it's a designer, whether it's a filmmaker, whether it's whatever is happening, invest yourself completely in it. So the whole point of this presentation that I'm trying to make, whatever is your desire, take the initiative, imagination will follow. At the same time, do all these multiple things in your life in whatever sphere you can. You don't have to wait for the big thing or the ultimate success, because ultimate success to me is being at peace with yourself no matter what you're doing. It's really not about doing what you love, it's about loving what you're doing. A mother could feel the ultimate success in doing something. You could feel the ultimate success in feeding your guests. I could feel the ultimate success in being here in the presentation. Somebody could feel the ultimate success in sending money by Western Union to their back home, their village back home. So at each point in time, our yardstick for what constitutes that ultimate success for us will keep changing. Yet, we have to attach ourselves to something that is not changing. Because if it keeps changing all the time, we will keep moving from happiness, unhappiness, happiness, unhappiness, happiness. I'm saying all that is a journey. All that assume will happen. I mean, you give toys to your children to play. For you, they're like, yeah, it's a Barbie doll, there's a toy car, everything. Imagine from the universe point of view, giving you a great job, a good car, good jewelry, the money to buy, the places to visit. From that point of view, it's toys. Of course you'll get them. You'll get them all. Just keep growing, just keep and have the faith that whatever will come, needs to come to your path, will come. But yes, do your little to it. Start the initiative. If you feel like becoming an entrepreneur, look at your skills. What do you like doing? Maybe baking. We have a great example of a lady who started Mrs. Vector's. And it's a wonderful, great story. One woman's initiative. And then the whole family comes together. It's happened with me in Amanat. We started patronizing, embroideries and weaves from all parts of India in order to protect the heritage. And then my whole family joined it. And then this whole thing became a whole movement, a whole momentum. So वो दांडी march की तरह अकेले चलना पड़ता. But then the caravan will join it. People will start coming in. Forces will start happening. And if they don't, you have to listen to the signs of the universe as well. Maybe it's knocking at your door and saying, hey, I want you to do that. That's what I want you to do because that's what's needed. Maybe that's not what you want to do. But that is what in the grand design of the universe, that is the vacancy available, and that is the vacancy that you need to upgrade yourself or extend yourself or stretch yourself to get into, because that is what is required. That is where the position is required. So also be flexible to changing your mind and saying, it doesn't matter, I don't know it, but I'll learn. And learning and being the eternal student always, to me, is also a sign of that ultimate success. As I said, I don't stick to my laurels. It's wonderful. It helps me connect to people like you. Because those things are there, because that performance is there. But I never started out thinking I'll do something great. All I started out was, I want to learn. And one step took me to another. Second step took me to the third. And it all started coming together. Just a very sincere yearning to learn and grow will take you miles and miles in your journey. And then you look back and say, ye to ho hi gaya, ye to hona hi tha. You know, it's not something that you set out for. It's something that happened on its own by the way. But the main thing was you're yearning to learn, you're yearning to persevere, you're yearning to grow. The Savitri, she went to save her husband Satyavan. She had that perseverance, she had that doggedness. She kept going and she kept going. And she reversed her fortune, she reversed her destiny. So that is the extent to which your perseverance can pay. ये तो छोटी सी चीज है.
What you've just taught us, and one of your slides, I want to say something about forgiveness that you said. I think you know why we are so harsh to people around us, because we are the harshest to ourselves. And I'm a doctor by profession, and whatever we've discussed today or heard from you, in my past experience, I feel everything it stems from there and manifests like a disease. Ultimately, the root is in our minds. So, in my entire day's work, you know, we come across a lot of people who are pretty upset with what life has offered to them. And in that counseling also there's a learning. So that is something I wanted to share, you know, what you said, that forgiveness, first thing I tell my patients is please forgive yourself. And a simple, easy exercise, if you can tell us, I'm sure in the course of meditation, which can help us to, you know, to come back to believing that there is somebody who is looking out for us, because that is something we forget very easily.
Okay.
And,
I do that in meditation.
Yeah, and I do a little small thing, I mean, I do share it with whoever I come into contact with, that do one thing in a day which really makes you feel happy. That's keeping it as simple as...
It could go in the book.
Yeah, I mean, I do that for myself. If I'm really upset, if cooking a nice dish makes me feel happy, I'll just go at 9 o'clock, I'm like tired to the bone, and I'll just go to the kitchen.
She's the best representative of my book. That's exactly what you're going to find in there. Thank you.
So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful listening to you.
In an audience where people coming from entrepreneurs, they've seen lives from all different angles. You're women, and that's the most beautiful thing of all, believe me. Also meeting a lot of doctors. I met Mr. Soin, and I've met a lot of doctors abroad as well. And believe me, it's a blessing that we have this whole marriage of science and spirituality in our country, in our faith. Because there is no division between the body and the mind. Every doctor you speak to believes as much in destiny and the power of prayer and the power of faith in the same breath that he will administer you a prescription. It is not so everywhere. And it's a huge, huge blessing in our whole healing system that we have this sort of holistic approach. So it's wonderful to be part of a gathering which is into healing and giving me the inspiration towards holistic healing. So, as I said, there are times when I might feel like the giver, like the presenter, but believe me, I will go back much more enriched from here, and that whole review will start sinking in once I go back. For now, we can go on to our meditation. Thank you.
Most our sincere apologies to Mrs. Gupta, Mrs. Jain, and anybody else who didn't receive the second name. We'll ensure such things don't happen in the future. I would really like to thank Mrs. Raminder Kaur and Mr. Anand Singh, Harbeen's parents, for accompanying Harbeen to Ludhiana and making this possible. May I please request Mrs. Bindra to just present a bouquet to them. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Thank you.
I don't mind having dozens of
Friends, every Dr. Suman Sharda is undoubtedly one of the most renowned, respected and revered women of our city. A brilliant doctor, an exemplary parent, and a very doting grandmother, she has successfully managed to show how to lead a very ideal life. Some of her social contributions, I thought, we all know her as a doctor, we all know her as Auntie Suman, but not many of us are aware of her social contribution, so I'll just take a minute. She's very active in the Arya Kanya Gurukul, which gives free lodging and boarding to underprivileged girls. Presently, they have a strength of about 153 girls, where they impart not only Vedic education, but general education also. She helps over 900 women, mostly widows, through an institution called Yanstal, by helping them become self-reliant. Twice a week, she visits the Crime Against Women Cell, which looks into domestic violence in our city. She also visits Bharatiya Vikas Parishad, where she volunteers to visit villages where she gives free medical advice. She writes, she sings, she counsels. She's a perfect woman. Ladies, can we give a standing ovation to her? May I request Harbeen to please walk up to Auntie Suman and take her bouquet and her blessings from her.
Can we add a little more? She's also.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She's really privileged. She was invited for I have to take your blessing. Thank you. He's got wonderful daughters as well.
I know. We'll celebrate this womanhood every time we get together. We have many such women in this. Ladies, when we started this LMA Women's Forum, which was, LMA has been in existence for over 20, 30 years. But the idea was conceived when none of us were on board, actually very active. And Mr. Sachit Jain and Mr. J.R. Singhal and Mr. Sanjay Gupta and Mr. Kamal Vadera, the number of them who thought that we needed a forum where we wouldn't be very technical, but at the same time discuss issues which are close to our heart. Final.
It's tough to be, I think, one of the only males in a woman-dominated audience.
You're lucky.
But it's women rule the home. And as we said, it's a gift and privilege to be a woman. And a woman-dominated area being one of the solitary men, and we wonder, and yet they call it a man's world. Right? Women have managed it so beautifully. They rule the men and allow them to think it's them. Dr. Harbeen, fantastic presentation. Full compliments to you. I was still debating whether to come today or not. One, I was supposed to be out of station. I just came back from about 10 days out and I was trying to catch up on work. And Mrs. Swain sent me a message 2 days ago, I hope you are coming. So I said, yeah, I'm trying to come. And I thought it would be at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock and I'll finish my whole day's work and land up. And then of course, I got one mail because I had blocked my mail when I go abroad. I was opening all the mails and I saw one mail that I think it was 5 o'clock. I said, okay, not that bad, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, not too bad. Then I saw another mail, it's 4 o'clock. So I was coming in as a duty, because we believed in LMA seriously that for women to get engaged into LMA, into having topics which may not be directly connected with management, but maybe indirectly connected with management. And if your mind becomes clearer, your decision making becomes much better. So I came in as a duty, but I must say I'm so glad that I came because this was a wonderful presentation. And to answer your question, Mr. Bindra, if your mind becomes clearer and calmer, and if you're able to think better, then whatever is the worldly success you're looking at, your ability to contribute to that goes up, because a lot of our time we waste in something what I call NVAs in my book, non-value added activities. and envy, jealousy, all the negativity that Shivani was talking about, those are things which sap our energy and take us away from what our objective is, even in the world of, in the common world, so to speak. So all this actually helps you to get that success. I also found a lot of commonality between my book and the issues I have written in my book to what have been written. I have talked about gratitude, I have talked about love, I have talked about energy, I have talked about giving, I have talked about spiritual health. So a lot of commonality between what you've written and what I have written. And 3 years ago when I wrote my book, before that I had not met a single author in my life. And after I've written my book, the number of authors I've come across have been amazing. I loved your example of electricity. I happen to be an electrical engineer.
Good, I didn't take it about
87 is when I did my engineering. But this idea of desire being an electricity and destiny being the switch which decides the capacity is a fantastic idea. The metaphor of bonfire, I think what she did in her talk was use common life examples to illustrate the very subtle points. And subtle points are very difficult to catch. Like I tell all people around me, don't be subtle about me, I won't catch it. Tell me straight. And especially with my wife, I tell her very clearly, I will not catch it for sure. Please tell me straight. So, when you talk about examples from real life, I think then you can certainly connect the subtle to the real. And you've done a fabulous job of doing that. So basically what you're talking about, because sometimes we see a presentation, we like it and forget it, just keep it in mind. Bring about positivity. Count the blessings you have in your life. I'll give you one example. I'm an asthmatic patient, and I've been a bad asthmatic patient. When you're fighting for your breath, you're fighting for your breath, and each breath, will the next breath come or not, then I think everything else, whether the next jewelry or the next piece of car, house, everything has got, nothing has got any meaning. It's the next breath which comes. Second, I've escaped a bomb blast. In 88, there was a bomb placed under my seat in a bank, in Citibank, in Delhi. I happened to have an asthmatic attack. And I was out. I was supposed to come back that day, and again the power of woman. My mother said, your boss gave you leave very easily, so don't go, stay another day. So I stayed another day because my boss gave me leave very easily, and mother said stay a day, and I escaped the bomb. 2 people died there, 88. So the point is, when these kind of things you see around you, life's perspective changes. And what Dr. Arora has talked in a book, I hope I'll get a chance to read it, and I have a copy right here for me. But in a talk, what you talked about, to bring about positivity, be grateful, take out the negative thing, they'll keep coming, you can't control that. You can't control actions of other people. You can't control what other people tell you. What you can control is how you respond to that. You can't change other people. The only person who can change is yourself, and you go along the path. As you spread positivity around you, hopefully people become positive around you. They may not. So don't expect that, but you remain positive. Thank you very much, Dr. Arora, and thank you very much for being here.